This is going to be a video walkthrough of the District 2018 problem number 5, Diya, I don't know. This is, I'd say this is like an intermediate challenge problem. It's not one of the beginner problems. That's why it's at the end of the packet. A little bit more complex, but I decided to pick it for two reasons. One, it's kind of a cool problem, and two, you're very likely to see a problem. I'm actually not going to go over this one just yet because it's on Invitational B and that's still in use, so I'm not going to put any of the videos up for those just yet until probably after spring break, when that window for Invitational B is closed. Then I'll probably put up those videos. But the idea is you're going to see like this idea of having like a matrix or something where you have to fill in values. So so first off, just input, right? We're going to be getting a bunch of numbers, and then for each of those numbers, we want to do a spiral like this. Now, there's a lot of different ways to solve this problem. I'm going to just show one of them using an array of arrays of integers. So basically a two-dimensional array of integers. And then my basic algorithm is I'm going to keep track of what my top row number is, what my right column number is, what my bottom row number is, and what my left column number is. And I'm going to kind of work my way in. So like I'm at row 0 is top, column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Column 5 is right. Row 5 is bottom, and then column 0 is left. So I'll go all the way here until I hit the right, and then I'll change row by 1, and then I'll go all the way down until I hit the bottom, and so on. And then after each one, I'm gonna, decrease my row for top, increase my row for bottom, flip that, increase my row for top because this is 0, so this would be 1. Decrease my row for bottom, so this is 5, now it's going to be 4, and then bring the right and left in, and it should work out where it just kind of slowly comes in. And then the second problem I'll have to solve is the actual output, because the output says all columns have to be left justified, so we'll worry about that when we get there. So for now, let's just try to get input and then see what we can do about the spiral. So, okay. So again, we don't know how many elements, so I'm just going to say while n dot has next, int n equals n dot next int. All right, so that's going to get n. Now, look back here. N tells how large our row and column is. These are always squares. So we're going to have an n by n two-dimensional array. So the way to do that is I'll say int, I'm going to call this, I always use matrix, so mat equal, so that would be an array of integers. That is an array of arrays of integers. So a two-dimensional array, call it the matrix, equals new int, and here we have to give it the size for each. So rows, there's n rows and there's n columns. So one thing to remember is it's always, well, not always. I use row major form, so it's rows, columns, like that. Okay. So it's row number and then column number. All right, so let's see, I've got top is going to be 0. Bottom is going to be, I'm just going to say bot equals 0. Left, say left, lit is 0. And right is 5, and that's not right. Bottom should be 5. Bottom should be, I'm sorry, not 5, it should be n. I don't know why I said 5. Bottom should be n minus 1. And right should be n minus 1, because looking at this, we have 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So there's 2 down here, there's 2 over there. Okay, so n minus 1. Okay. Okay. And I'm just, here I'm just declaring, since all of these are integers, I'm just declaring them on one row. Okay. So, I want to start at, let's say I equals 1, while I is less than or equal to n times n, I plus plus. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a for loop here or a while loop, but I'm going to start with this for loop. So I'm going to start at 1, while I is less than n times n, so it's going to go from 1 up to 9, go up by 1. Okay. Let's see here. I also need, you know what, actually I don't think I'm going to use a for loop here. I think I'm going to just use a while loop. I'm going to say int I equals 1. Right. While I is less than n times n, less than or equal to n times n. Do stuff. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna actually I'm gonna say I equals 0 here. I'm gonna say, well, I is less than n times n. I'll explain why in a second. So I need to keep track of my current row and my current column, right? So int r equals 0, c equals 0. That's my row and column. Okay. So if r, let me think about this for a second. So I want to go around. So I want to increase my column until I hit the right. Right? So I want mat at r c to equal, oh, you know what? I don't know why. Go back into just I equals 1, less than or equal to I. So I want this to equal I, and then I want to increment I after it's done, right? So that way I is 2 at that point. Okay. So I'm going to say while r is less than or equal to right, I'm sorry, while c is less than or equal to right, all right, go ahead and move over and then increment I and then c plus plus. I just want to say less than. Yeah. Less than or equal to right. Okay. Now when it gets to that point, that means I'm done with the top. So I'm going to say, okay, top. Oh, you know what? No. Okay, I know what I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I'm all kinds of messed up here. I'm probably have to go back and re-record this video. I don't need to keep track of row and column. I'll explain. I may try to explain why. So well, I kind of do, but I'm going to say top and then the column, and then increment the column. All right, so the top is 0, so we're going to go all the way across 0. All right, and then we'll increment top. So then we'll say R equals top, while R is less than or equal to bottom. The thing in column right, and column R in row R column right is equal to I, and then increment I, and then increment row. When we hit that, we'll say right minus minus. Okay. Then we'll say column equals right, while the column is greater than or equal to the left. The matrix in row bottom, might as well put the bottom now, column C is equal to I, and then increment I, and then column minus minus, so decrement that. And then I want bottom to decrease. And then I'll say while, so now I want row to equal bottom, while row is greater than or equal to top. Let's see here, this is row, so the row R, column left is equal to I plus plus, and we want left to increase, and then we would want column to equal left, right? So, column here was 0, but really the pattern was I wanted to, if I look at this, right, I want R equals, so column equals left, R equals top, column equals right, R equals bottom. Top plus plus, right minus minus, bottom minus minus, left plus plus. Top C, R right, bottom C, R left. Crossing my fingers here, this might give us an error. Let's find out. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up a really simple output for now. I'm going to say for int row, so an array of integers row in mat for each int n in row out.println followed by a space, and then out.println. We'll clean this up. If this actually works, we'll clean this up. So I'm going to run this. Error it does not like. Oh yeah, I've already used n, so I'll just say num run code, and it's running. I've got an infinite loop here. Okay, so let's figure out why I've got an infinite loop. I plus plus. Okay, so I is incrementing. Well, C is less than or equal to RT, C plus plus. Well, R is less than or equal to bottom, R plus plus. Well, C is greater than or equal to top left, C minus minus. Well, R is greater than or equal to top. Haha. R minus minus. Now let's try it. Run. There we go. Okay, now I don't have the breaks in here, but let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the spacing is clearly off because well, like these are 2 digits and those are 1, so that's, we'll fix that. But it looks like the numbers themselves are right, so that's good. So I think I've got this part should work. Okay, so now it's a matter of, and for a hint, I'm going to look back here and say, well, this last one in particular, I think was included intentionally. Because if I look really closely, this 100, that's the largest number. And each of these are 3 spaces, but they're left justified. And there's another space. So, how do I know the length of the largest value? Well, the largest value is n squared. So I need to turn that, if I could figure out the length of that number, then I'd be good. So I'm going to turn that number into a string and then find its length. So I'm going to go ahead and say I made int largest equals integer. I'm sorry. Is there a toString? There is a toString. Integer.toString n times n. But I want its length, so dot length. I think that might actually work. So then right here, I want to do a print f. I'm going to say, well, %d, and I want that to be the largest value. Now, this is going to be kind of funny, but I'm going to say % plus largest plus d. And this is going to take this largest value, and it's going to put it right there between the % and the d. I think I then want a space. Do I want the space after or before? I want the space after, and the reason I notice that is because, well, there's no space here to the left. So I'm going to have a % space d, and I want it left justified. The way we make it left justified, I believe, is we put a minus sign. Doesn't seem right. I'm going to try that. That may not work. We'll find out. Num. Save. Println. F1. Run. Oh, nope, that put a minus in front. Okay, so left justified. So this is where having our Java API is going to come in handy. So I've forgotten how to left justify, so I'm going to search for printf. Now remember, this is all allowed during the contest. All right, so we're not on the internet. We are on our local computer. I go in here, I look for format string syntax. I'm just going to hit Control F, left justified, flag, dash. You know what? It helps if you put it in the right place. So this minus in front, that's not inside the %. I've got to put the dash right there inside the %. So I didn't forget, I just made a silly mistake. There we go. So let's go ahead and look at the output now with what it should be. So we already know what this 100 should look like. We're still missing the final line, but let's just go ahead and check. So everything there, we got 10, 11, 9, so this one 19. That looks good. Let's check this weird case. All right, everything seems to be working. Big one. Yeah, so it all looks good. So the only thing we're missing now are the equal signs in between each one. So I will put that after this for loop out print line, and we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals. Save. Run one more time. And make sure that looks right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks right to me. So there we go. A little rough there for a minute, but got it figured out. Again, kind of looking at the two-dimensional array and then just a way of problem solving through filling it in. I think this is a pretty cool way of solving this problem. So there we go. Hopefully you found that helpful. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. This was, like I say, a little bit more complex problem, so ask away, and I'll do my best to answer. So thanks.